Hey, long time no see. I've really missed you and I'm so appreciative of all of the continued support even though I haven't been posting on here regularly and I haven't been posting on my blog very regularly, but I'm ready to get back into some creative projects. I was looking back on 2018 and realized that some of the happiest moments were the moments when I was making things, and I really miss that. I do have a full-time job and it takes a lot of mental energy, so I just have found that I haven't been feeling very creative. But I really miss BookTube and I love watching BookTube videos, so I want to put myself back out here as part of the conversation and part of the community, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm starting us off with a bang with a huge collective book haul. I did a book haul in the summertime and it is now December. How did that happen? I know, the year went like that. Anyhow, I've been rambling a bit, so let's get into the book haul. I've picked up so many neat books, some of which I've read and some of which I have not. So I'm just going to pick one up from the pile. This is The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. Now, I read 1Q84 this year. I finally finished it, and because that's a huge book. That's probably his most popular and well-known work. And I actually really loved it this time. I had tried to read it previously and hadn't gotten into it, but this time I really enjoyed it, so I decided to pick up more of his books. The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle is arguably one of his other most well-known works, and so I'm going to give this one a shot. I have no idea what it's about, but I don't really want to be spoiled because his books are surrealist, and so they have this like mystery element going on, so I'm just going to shy away from any summaries of the book. The next book is an interesting one, and one that I'd never heard of. It's called Emperor of the Eight Islands. It's really shiny, and it's The Tale of Shikanoko Book 1. I haven't heard about this, but it's about Japanese emperors, apparently, and I haven't started it yet, but I just was drawn to the cover because it's so pretty. I don't know if you can see because of the glare, but it's just really gorgeous. I just thought, Japan is interesting. I could stand to learn more about Japan, so I picked it up. The next one is a third book in a series that I haven't read yet. I should actually pick this up. Maybe I'll pick this up today and read some of this. This is Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake. This is the third book in the Three Dark Crowns series. I originally thought it was supposed to be a trilogy, so I thought this was the last one, but it turns out it's going to be a 4-book series, so this is not the concluding novel, but I am still looking forward to picking it up. It's been a little while since I've been in this world, so I might need a refresher on all of the characters and everything, but I do remember about these series that they read really quickly, so I'm really looking forward to flying through this. Also, it has decal edging, which is my favorite characteristic of a book for book design. Whoa, sorry about that. Just trying to knock you over here. I picked up another sequel, and this is the concluding novel of the series because it's a duology, and this is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. Now, I recently reread Strange the Dreamer. I read it first when it came out, however long ago, a year and a half ago, and then I listened to the audiobook a few months ago so that I could prepare myself for the release of this book, and haven't read it yet. It's just so big, and it's just intimidating, and it's so shiny, and I'm sorry I'm blinding you, so I'll put it down here. But, I don't know, her writing is so lyrical and gorgeous and lush, and I adore it, so I really just need to pick it up. I need to stop being intimidated. I've been reading a lot of short books. Maybe I'm trying to bump up my Goodreads count for the end of the year. The next one is an interesting one. It's kind of polarizing, and that is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. Now, I've read all of John Green's books. I watch the Vlogbrothers religiously. I know a lot about the content that these two brothers put out, and this is Hank's debut novel. I was very excited about it. I pre-ordered it. Okay, there was a brief interlude where I had to go do something. Don't remember exactly where I was, but I think I was saying that I took a road trip to Bellingham to go see Hank Green. So that was pretty cool. I read this book. I didn't love the book, but I love Hank Green's humor. Another book that I picked up that I'm very excited to read but super intimidated about is The Poppy War. I've heard such great things about this. It was written by a very young author, and it's about Asian opium wars, and the main character is a young badass warrior girl, so I'm really excited to dive into this. It seems a little bit edgy, and I like things that are edgy, so maybe I should pick this one up too. Now that I'm looking at all these books, I just want to read them all again. It makes me excited about them. Now, this is a collective book haul, so some of these books I picked up quite a bit ago, and one of those is Sea of Strangers by Lang Liev. I actually talked about this in one of my reading vlogs forever ago when I made videos last time, and I really enjoyed this. It's poetry and prose, and there were some poems in here that really hit me in the heart, and I have a whole video about poetry. I used to hate poetry, and I've come to really appreciate it sometimes, and I really do enjoy pop poetry or insta poetry, and definitely female empowerment poetry. So that's kind of what this is. And I really definitely enjoyed it. I gave it like a 4.5 stars. I know this isn't a wrap up, but I also picked up Lang Liev's fiction novel, Sad Girls, and I didn't like it at all, but this is about a girl who has a secret, and you don't find out what the secret is, and it's really cheesy, but maybe you'd be interested in it. And then my camera died, because of course it did. And the dishwasher's going. Ugh. Guys, I feel like I have growing pains, like I'm starting this all over again. Another book that I picked up from Powell's that I've been eyeing for quite a long time is Convenience Store Woman. They've been really pushing this book. And this is about a woman in Japan. Do you sense the Japanese theme going on here? This is about a woman in Japan who works in a convenience store, and she hasn't really done anything else with her life, and she has no social life, and her life is the store. And it's really weird. It's kind of absurdism, and it's a little bit dark and unsettling. Not dark, it's just, how do I explain it? It's just kind of a little like alien or unsettling. It's so different from what I'm used to, and the perspective was really strange. But I'm glad that I read it. Again, I know this isn't a wrap-up, but because it's been so long since I purchased some of these books, I've read a lot of them, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to the point where I buy a book and I read it, and I buy a book and I read it, instead of buying so many and just having a massive TBR. I am going to do an updated TBR video really soon. I still probably have around 200 books that I haven't read, but most of them are in Alaska, and I now live in Portland. So they're stored there, and right now I probably only have 30-ish on my TBR, so it's a reduced TBR. I'll do a reduced TBR video here really soon. I'm excited about that. But another book that I picked up from Powell's, can you tell that I spend a lot of time at Powell's now that I live in Portland, is What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami. So I already discussed 1Q84 in this video, and this is sort of his memoir about running and how it relates to his writing life, his creative life, his discipline, etc. And I actually really enjoyed this. I don't like to run at all. In fact, I find it to be quite a torturous activity, but I understand that some people do really enjoy it, and that this might be a good, like, helpful training guide. But it was also just really interesting to hear his thoughts about how he kind of intertwines these two areas of his life. The next two books are by Victoria Schwab. She is one of my favorite authors. I absolutely loved her Darker Shade of Magic series that I read this year. That was one of the highlights of my reading year. And she came out with 2 new books this fall season, and I purchased them both right away. And I actually had the exciting opportunity to go meet Victoria Schwab, and she's just such an inspiring individual. I really enjoy watching her Instagram posts about writing. If you're interested in writing as a craft, she has a lot of words of wisdom. She also discusses how to make yourself write when you don't feel like it, when you feel afraid or anxious about it. I appreciate that she's vulnerable about that topic, and that she is very transparent and says, look, this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do, but I'm doing it anyway, and you can too, and that's really inspiring to me. So I picked up both of her books. One of them is City of Ghosts. This is a middle grade novel about this young girl whose parents are kind of ghost hunters, or they're ghost historians, and so they recently acquired a TV show opportunity where they get to travel to different countries and explore the ghost culture there. So their first stop is Edinburgh, and in Scotland, and so they drag their daughter along with them, and she actually can see ghosts because of a near-death experience. It was fun. I flew through it in a day. I read it in just like one afternoon. I guess it's, whoa, I'm shaking you again, sorry. It's middle grade, so it's a lot easier to read, obviously, and there are far fewer words on each page, which was kind of refreshing. I was like, woo, I read a book in a day. That was really fun. Her other book that I picked up is Vengeful, and this is long anticipated by many people. She released a standalone novel called Vicious about these 2 young men who are in college who become obsessed with the idea of extraordinaries, or how people gain abilities through near-death experiences. And it was like a tale of revenge, essentially, and it was really interesting. I'm not a huge superhero fan. So I'm just gonna put that out there right now, or I guess this is more like supervillain, but I'm not really into that particular genre, so it didn't interest me based upon the subject matter, but I just read everything that she puts out, so I read it, and like, I don't know, a year or two ago. I didn't read it when it was released. I read it later. Anyhow, this is the follow-up. I think she did a fantastic job. I really appreciate how short her chapters are, and so it kind of like moves along at a clippy pace, and you're feeling like you're making progress. And she introduced some new female characters that were really badass in this this installment, and I liked that. So overall, writing A+, 5 out of 5 stars. Storyline, not for me. Oh my god, Allura, this is not a wrap-up. If I keep looking over here, it's because I'm looking at myself with my hair, which is still a little bit new to me and a little bit weird. So the next book that I purchased was one that I saw on social media, and that's called Silence, Poetry, Photos, and a Fuck Ton of Feelings. It wasn't really my cup of tea. Again, not a wrap-up. Maybe you're interested in this. This is sort of akin to Sea of Strangers, Ruby Kaur's work, like Milk and Honey, The Sun and Her Flowers, that kind of thing. I found it to be a little bit darker than that, and I didn't particularly like her cadence, but I could see the appeal. I have 2 interior design books. I adore interior design. I've already said adore recently. That's not really a word that you can use twice in a 10-minute long video. Anyway, I really enjoy interior design, and I saw this book. It's called Sand Castles, Interiors Inspired by the Coast, when I was on a trip to the coast with my lovely mother in June, July, sometime in there. So it was in the summertime, and I saw this book in a shop. The shop itself was lovely, and I saw this book and I really wanted it, but it was so expensive, and I thought, oh, no, don't get it. Just put it on your Amazon wish list, think about it, decide if that's something that you really, really want. I decided it was something that I really, really wanted. So I ended up picking it up, and it's beautiful. Oh my god. So the author, he has different categories of, wrong way, interiors inspired by the coast. And so there's like more of a naval look, there's more of a bohemian look. It's just really interesting and very eclectic, but all around the central theme of the ocean and coastal regions. The other book that I picked up on home design, I got on Black Friday actually, and it's called Homebody by Joanna Gaines. Now, I had never heard of her, but I had heard of Magnolia Homes, and so I guess I had indirectly heard of her since she is one of the co-founders of that. She's the main designer for that brand. This was good. It's separated out by room, so it's like living room, kitchen, master bedroom, kids' play spaces, utility rooms, things like that. And I really did like the full photographs. Anyway, this might be a good one for you to pick up if you love interior design as much as I do. Okay guys, well, that was my huge collective book haul. I'm so happy to be back on YouTube. I'm really hoping to start posting regular content again. So thank you for sticking with me. I know it's been really like content, no content, content, no content, but I hope you understand that that's just life sometimes, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, but I'm happy to be back. So here we are. Yeah, so if you're new here, please subscribe, like this video, please comment down below. I'm really hoping to cultivate the sense of community. And I do have a blog called Girl Becoming, and I have posted a lot of different content on there. I have food content, I have reading content, I have just like express like different, anyway, you can see, you can go look, take a look, take a peek yourself. Thanks for sticking with me. I love you guys. See you soon.